What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, okay? It is the 27th of April. Here we are at about $94,000, just below there, having a little bit of a red day. 8 hours, 50 minutes left in the day so far. I'm okay with this red day, right? It's happening over the weekend. It gives the RSI a little bit of a reason to cool off. If we could actually close today, not just here, but a little bit lower, I think that'd be ideal. Getting to the overbought zone and bouncing off of it is oftentimes a positive thing, right? Getting overbought, bouncing off it like that is a really positive thing. Or if we can get overbought, cool off a little bit out of the overbought zone, that gives us more room to run whenever we do go to the upside. It is possible, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. It is possible that Bitcoin finds resistance here and goes back to its 0.5. It is possible. We could go back down to about $90,000, perhaps even $86,000 or somewhere in between. Going from your golden ratio to your 0.5 or your 382 zone, somewhere in this area, it's very, very common. So don't be scared. Don't be sad if that happens. What I'm assuming would happen if we saw Bitcoin drop this much is I'm assuming there'd be a lot of fear for altcoins. So a 4% to 8% dump for Bitcoin would result in like a 20% dump in the altcoin markets, at least a 15% dump or something, 10% at least, really. And maybe that happens. Prepare yourselves. It could happen. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I'm just saying it could happen. But that's not me saying that it will happen. Really what I'm expecting here, that's not the expectation. We're just mentioning it, right? What I am expecting is that we don't do that. I am expecting that we are just consolidating here, moving slowly, and inevitably we're going to break out to $104,000, $100,000, something like this. The goal, again, we'll keep saying it every day until it looks like it's going to happen, well, it does look like it's going to happen, until it looks like it's safe in the bag or the month is over. We're going to talk about 102. I don't know why I can't find the right words for this, but what we're looking for, and we'll say it every day, poorly apparently, over the next 3 days and 9 hours, is that we're looking for $102,000, $102.4 thousand by the end of this month. Hold on, guys, 1 second. Something like that by the end of the month would result in a very bullish signal. We would bullishly engulf the whole consolidation range that we've had since January. Everything would just be engulfed in 1 month. Again, if we close above that line there, we're closing above our highest monthly close. We're also in 1 month's time engulfing everything, right? If we close above this line. So that's what we're looking for. That's what we're holding out for. If we don't get that, it's fine. It's not like this needs to happen for Bitcoin to be bullish. I'm just saying it would be a very powerful signal. I don't care who you are in the world, whether you're a gold bug, a silver bug, you're a traditional person in the stocks, you don't like crypto at all. You see something like that, especially with all the momentum that Bitcoin's getting and crypto's getting from the TradFi world. It would send a pretty powerful signal, even to the sourest of Bitcoin speculators, right? You'd have to start believing in something at that point. But even if not, even if we don't get up there, we're still bullishly engulfing last month's candles. So even if we don't get that, we're still having a powerful signal here at that very powerful month on this. And we're bouncing off of the 60 on the RSI, bouncing off of the 60 here. Last time we did that, we had some growth. The time before that, when we did that, we had some growth over here. I actually compared this in the last video. I think it's a good comparison to make, right? If we're looking at this here, we bounced right off the 60, got into the overbought zone. It was still a higher high, yes, but it didn't grow, it didn't persist. But even still, from the low, from the 60 area in the RSI right here, from the low to the high, that was 139% pump. Here from this one, from the low to the high, that was 121% pump. If we saw this and from the low here, right? That's the low at the 60. That's where we found our low in the RSI there. We take the low there, we put it there. That puts us at 166K. If we're going up to 140%, that puts us at $180,000. So we've got some very interesting prospects ahead of us. I very much believe that by the end of June, if not very early July, we will see prices at 170 to 180K, maybe 188K. But until then, we've got a little bit of figuring out to do. Looking at the weekly RSI, also bouncing off this area, bouncing off the 40 area, classic, good look right here. At least this bull cycle, it's been classic. Getting into the overbought zone, that's the next goal, and that every time we bounce off of this area has led to expansion this cycle. And I do think we're in the wake of expansion now. Looking at the daily RSI, getting overbought again, it's a powerful thing, it's a good thing, but cooling down a little bit is not a bad thing either. If we're looking at the 4-hour time frame, 4-hour RSI does make me think, I don't know what it makes me think. We could go lower, but we might just find support here, right? You might just find support here. These diagonal lines are a little bit more respected in the RSI than they are in the price. You might just find support here. And if it's not here, maybe a little bit better fit. Maybe we bounce right off the 50. So we go down a little bit more. Maybe over the next 48 minutes, we go down a little bit more, something like that, or to end the day. And then we bounce from here and we continue going up. Let's look at the relative low to relative high here. 0.5. Yeah, Bitcoin likes its 0.5. Crypto likes its 0.5 these days. Perhaps we do go down to the golden ratio, though. $93.3 thousand, something like that. And then we bounce from there. Maybe. We could wick there, close a little bit higher than that. That way we get this 50 level bounce, something like that. I don't know. But I think we do bounce soon. We'll probably, by the end of the day, if we're down 0.8% today, I would expect that we either close with a kind of neutral look as we did yesterday, or we could even close today green. We've got 2 4-hour candles left, including this one. So it really wouldn't surprise me if by the end of today we were a little bit more neutral or even closing positively. So that'll be interesting to see. It would be nice. I think it would be nice if today were to close red, though, because then we could have a little bit of a cool off in the RSI. Let's look at the 1-hour time frame. 1 hour makes me think we go lower too. So lower to go for sure over the coming hours. Will it be by the end of the day that we come back up? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But certainly at this moment, I am expecting we see 93.3 thousand to about $93,000. That's the call. Can we go lower? Of course we can. But the expectation right now is to bounce here and begin to recover and go onward and upward by the end of the year, or by the end of this month, over the next 3 days, to see prices that are at or above $102.4 thousand. I don't think I have anything else that I want to say. We've gone over all that. We could talk about something real quick. I'll go over it very briefly, okay? We'll just do this real quick, okay? I'll make another video on this. We'll do some long-term stuff, but just from a high to a low in our very first bull cycle to our very first bear cycle, you can see where the next cycle went, right? This is the next bull cycle, went all the way up to the 2272. In fact, you went just above there, okay? High to low here, you had your bear cycle, your next bull cycle, you went all the way up to the 2272, just above there. 2 cycles in a row, okay? High to low, this cycle, right? You again did not go, actually this time you did not go to your 2272, but you did again have a bull market and grew all the way up to your 1618. You got stopped. There's a lot of reasons why you got stopped. I actually theorized that this should have been that moment where we did go to the 2272, but we got stopped. Whatever. It's fine. It happens sometimes. There's a lot of bad things, economically speaking, happening at this time in the markets last time. So high to low, stopping at the golden ratio. What this implies is that by the end of this cycle, we will either be somewhere around 174K to 462K. And with the 462K, you oftentimes do go just above the 2272. I would say 500,000 is the expectation by the end of the cycle. This is something that I've been predicting since 2023, probably even since the end of 2022. I can't remember how early it's been, but for years we've been talking about this. For years we've genuinely been talking about this, and I expect that we will see $500,000 in October. That's what I'm thinking. End of October, beginning of October, somewhere in that time frame there. If not, it's possible that we could stop somewhere. I doubt that we stop here. This is the target that we have by the end of June. But we could stop somewhere in between. Maybe we stop at $260,000 to $300,000, maybe. But I am calling for $500,000. I hope it's clear as to why. I'll go into a more in-depth video on my next one. I just wanted to talk about that here just to illustrate the path forward, right? We're going to find resistance at 170 to 180, probably pull back to 130, 100,000 itself, and then continue to fly from there, ultimately finishing off our cycle. We're very, very near, but we're not there. We're near in a time perspective, but we're not near in a price perspective. We're at $94,000 now. We have a lot of growth to go. 500,000 is the ultimate goal. I got nothing else for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.